This is HeKnows Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping the foot on the what? On the next. We keeping the foot on the what? On the next. Let's get right into it, man. Richy Rich, man. NBA season is canceled, man. Pandemic, global pandemic. This epidemic, man, that's going on. Coronavirus, man. Everywhere you turn, coronavirus. This shit is real, man. I mean, it's canceled the season. I mean, it is what it is. Shawn, what's up, man? Salute to you, man. So, what's your take on coronavirus? Lewis, man, what's up with you, brother?
What's going on, HeKnows? What's going on, Richy Rich? Shout out to the chat, man. How's everybody doing, man? Dealing with this whole COVID-19 going on out here, man. Hope you guys have been safe, and hope everybody else has been safe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Coronavirus, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, man. This shit
How
is
you
real,
doing?
man. So let's get into it, man. Let's talk, man. I mean, bottom line, guys, it's chaotic right now, man. I mean, the world is upended. There's just a lot going on. I mean, it's just a lot. I mean, I'm gonna leave it to you, man, Lewis. Let's get into it, man. I mean, what's your take on the NBA season being canceled? And do you even think there's gonna be NBA season? Do you even think there's gonna be an NBA playoffs? I mean, this thing is serious.
Well, considering that everything has happened from the time that
Mm-hmm.
let me say this real quick in terms of Rudy Gobert, because I know that he's getting a lot of flack for what's been happening with this whole with this whole virus situation.
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand something that he got tested. So he
Mm-hmm.
was the first guy to get tested, but we don't really know if he was the first person to have it because he wasn't the only one that got it. I mean, his teammate Donovan Mitchell got it too. There's been a lot of sayings and a lot of rumors on the inside, possibly that he was the reason because of the fact that he was just very careless. And I'm not saying that he wasn't careless and he should have thought better, but I think that he's getting too much blame because then it's like, are you telling me that it's just because of him that a lot of things are happening? Because it's like, look, like we're hearing things about look what's happened, since then. I mean, you got Marcus Smart who came out with it. He came out today, with the
Mm-hmm.
virus. We got two Laker players who came out with the virus, but they haven't said any names. We got four Brooklyn Nets players, and KD is one of the four that got the virus. Then on
Yeah.
top of that, then it's like, we got Christian Wood from the Pistons who got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got three Sixer players who caught the virus on top of that. So I think right now I feel like that I blame this stems to me from the government and the media, and I blame them a lot. And here's why. This
Mm-hmm.
is something that we knew about since the start of December, and I felt like that people have done really like a poor job in terms of them taking precautionary steps into properly trying to prepare for something like this in case if something like this was to happen. Because something that happens is that we're very distracted as a society. We keep sometimes the mindset is like, oh, just because we live in New York, it's like, oh, we don't think that things are going to happen over here. And look what's happening right now. We're right now clearly over 5,000 cases in NYC right now. That's
True.
pretty scary. That's very scary. And
Mm-hmm.
so now that would you consider everything happening, it's like I feel like in terms of the season, as much as a basketball fan, I would love for the season to continue because I'm hearing some things that it might resume in June or July. But here's the thing: if
Mm-hmm.
we get the thing with Kevin Durant was because he's not playing, it's not
Mm-hmm.
going to affect as much. But if you're getting and the thing is also that because of those Laker players that we don't know who has them yet, and the NBA hasn't released reports on who are those two specific Laker players that got tested positive.
Mm-hmm.
If it happens to one of the big stars, if we're talking about Anthony Davis, if we're talking about LeBron, Paul George, or Kawhi Leonard,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to shut the season down because we got to put the health of these players first. We're talking about human beings, and we got to take care of ourselves. We can't be thinking selfishly, look, I would love for basketball to continue because I want to see what the playoffs are going to be like. I want to see the matchups just to see, you know, who, especially when we're looking at this Western Conference Finals, because the talk of the town has been Kawhi against LeBron. The
Yeah.
problem is we have to worry about, again, being healthy. And like I said, that I feel like it's become a distraction that's put a lot of people, like, pretty much in fear. So I think that, and the thing is, the owners have already talked to Adam Silver because they said they want to wait 30 days to see
Mhm.
how far this thing is going to go. But look how rapid the diseases, that this virus is increasing. So
Yeah.
they're saying that either if you're old, if you're like an elderly person, or if you're somebody who has a health condition, and then you have
Mhm.
that virus on top of that, it's going to be difficult. But
Yeah.
people have been cured from it, so like there is hope. Now we just got to figure out, obviously, if they figure out the vaccine or something. But I just find this, it's just very fishy for me,
Mhm.
just considering how much this has happened so fast, and it just
Yeah.
came out like a curtain's blinds eye. It just came out of nowhere. But like
Mhm.
I said, we knew about this because it has started in December, and now it's become a pandemic. But I feel like there could have been steps taken by the government, but instead it's like they're telling you something that we should pretty much already know when it comes to like washing hands and making sure that when we cough, we obviously do the, use the elbow cough, like, so you don't spread your germs, and
Mhm.
using mask in public. And it's like, if you're sick, you should be more using the mask than somebody who's healthy, because there's holes between that mask, and it's like when you use it, even when you're breathing or coughing, it's like those germs are going to stick with you, because like it's literally keeping right there, so you're not really protecting yourself.
That's true.
So you're really making yourself, at odds, even a better chance of getting even more sick.
Mhm.
So when it comes to the NBA season, like it's like I said before, we can't think selfish. It's about the players obviously you know, getting better, getting rid of this virus so that it can stop spreading, so that America has a chance to understand what they're really dealing with. That's first
Mhm.
and foremost. But if it can, like I said, if one of these big players end up getting the virus, I hate to say it, but we have to shut down the season, because we have to think about health, and we got to think about families first before sports, because this is bigger than basketball.
Yeah.
And it's affecting not only athletes, but it's affecting people who normally work 9 to 5 jobs. It's people who are in high professions. We're talking about, there's a report today here in NYC alone. We got 52 cops having that virus right now. So this is some real stuff. So people who are fighter fighters, doctors, lawyers, nurses, psychiatrists, therapists, like it's about that, man. So I think
Mhm.
the season it possibly could be shut down if this doesn't really get solved. Quite honestly. And besides, and the biggest, and my last point before you guys continue, if this season were to continue, it's going to affect the NBA draft. It's going to affect Olympic play, and
Mhm.
it's even going to affect free agency. So then you have to figure out, when is the season going to really start.
Yeah.
If they tend to try to push this back when it comes to 2021. So
Yeah.
the complications of that. So me personally, if nobody gets better and we find out one of the big stars, end up getting the virus, we may need to shut the season down.
I feel you on that. Richie Rich, what's your take on it?
Uh, yeah. Salutes to you guys. How you guys doing, man?
What's up, Richy
I,
Rich?
so,
So
yeah, my take on it is that I agree with a lot Lewis has said, man. It's this is bigger than basketball. This is about preserving life, man.
Mhm.
And this thing is serious. This thing has ballooned into a serious matter where everyone's life is at stake, man. Because you see it, what's going on, all the lives it's taken already, especially the elderly people, people with underlying conditions. Uh, if you could be a young person, you can be a carrier. It's not, you don't have no, you could be asymptomatic, you not have no conditions, but you're spreading it to older people or people with health issues, and they could, suffer from it. So you have to be very cautious. You got to, do what you're supposed to do. And you see a lot of these NBA players, a lot of them are not, they don't have symptoms because these guys are relatively healthy. They're always keeping their bodies warm because they're working out and stuff like that, but they're carriers. So it's imperative that, they look into that. And when you look at everything, they've only tested about 9 NBA teams and staff. So with all that, you see how many of these people have tested positive for the coronavirus. So
Mhm.
they have yet to test the other 21 teams and staff. So there could be a more rising numbers of players or staff that have this coronavirus. So Adam Silver, that was good that what he said when he had his interview, but he's gonna have to be a little more cautious with that June July date that he's looking at, because that may not be a possibility, man. They're gonna probably have to can the season because come on now, there's gonna be more cases when they test these other teams. There's gonna be more cases, man. I that's just the realistic side to it, because we all know, as a whole, we haven't been like in the country, we haven't been taking this thing serious until it like really hit, the states. We saw what happened in China, we saw what happened in South Korea, Italy, but we still, most people still were like taking it lax. But now that it's like getting serious, you see California being shut down, New York over there with Lewis, what being announced today that they're going on a shutdown. Now people are starting to take this thing a lot more serious, and just imagine all these NBA players on those other 21 teams, man. These guys are probably not doing the social distancing, or the staff. They're not staying away. They're not washing their hands every time they get in contact with something. And when they test those other players and they test those other staff, they're going to see that these numbers are going to rise. And like as we see every day, these cases are rising. These death tolls are rising, man. So I'm not sure the NBA is going to be able to continue their season, man. And if they do, man, it's going to be without the fans, and it's just gonna be off, man. It's gonna be weird, and we're not really gonna look at the NBA. We're gonna look at the NBA differently if it tries to go on with this. So they have to look at it like this is bigger than basketball, man. The NBA season uh, doesn't need to continue on, because we know there's gonna be more cases, and they're not gonna have a vaccination yet, because from what I hear, it takes about a year to have a vaccination, because they have to do a whole lot of trial and error. Right now, they're doing like they have a vaccine out there, but it's like a testing vaccine where they just testing on people to see how it works. So you don't know what kind of side effects that thing's gonna have right now. So we're gonna probably have to wait a year. Right now they want the NBA. Adam Silver's looking at those dates, but there's not going to be a true vaccination out there yet. So players and staff still might have it. You still might not have a proper cure for this thing yet. So that's another reason why the NBA shouldn't start. And also, like the dates Lewis was talking about, it affecting the draft,
Mhm.
affecting free agency, Olympic games coming in. This is going to really set everything back. And as they mentioned before, about a month ago, saying that owners were looking at, starting the NBA around December, just so that they can avoid, their time slot along with football. They want to have their own time slot where they're running the games from December all the way further into the summer, so that they can avoid football. They could have the whole time slot between them, but I don't really know. I think they're just trying to change too many things in the NBA right now. You know what I'm saying? They just need to focus on getting through this situation. If they
Mhm.
gotta cancel the season, man, just go ahead and cancel it. If you see that more players do the proper testing, if you see that more players and staff are have tested positive for this, can the season, man. You see the NHL, they've already canned their season because they know this thing is gonna run longer than it normally is supposed to run longer. This is a pandemic, man. This thing is not gonna go away with a snap of a finger. It's gonna take its time. It's gonna take its course to go away. So we just gotta take precautions and do things the proper way. We can't rush this, and I want Adam Silver to do things the right way. Don't rush it. Don't try to get these games out there to the fans just because you don't want to miss out on profits, man. This is more important than making money, or seeing fans watching their players, play to try to win or something like that, just to appease the fans, just so we can be entertained, man. This is more important than us, man. This is about life in general. So we got to put that at the forefront. So I wouldn't want the NBA to return. I want them to cancel the season outright, man, and make sure everybody is healthy to come back for next season.
That's true. All right, Jacob Lonewolf, what you got to say on that, man? Jacob, you there? Jacob Lonewolf, you there, brother?
Send them a private chat message.
Okay, Shawn, old man, what's your take on this, man?
I agree with everybody saying about the virus. California, or I live in LA. It's not that we have we don't have a big shutdown over here. It's like it's just restaurants and gyms just closed. You could still go to the grocery stores and also go to, buy certain food places, getting a burger and maybe some type of delivery like pizza. Like I bought pizza today.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been the longest. This has been the longest March I ever experienced. Like I have never felt like a March or even a month to feel like a year for me. Yep. It's like it's just like from January you already have a terrible accident or incident that you have like a top 5 player to be gone with his second daughter, and then we all wait to this. Now, I'm not saying I did not take the virus seriously. I was aware, but I wasn't worried about it because it's not going to affect me because I don't travel a lot. I mean, I usually go to school and then come back, go to school, come back, or if I have work, I go to work and then come back. I just don't even know. Like, I just don't even know anymore. But as far as like the NBA, I don't think they try not to cancel it as long as they have certain players that they, certain key players that they can able to still use. Like if Giannis or LeBron got sick, they'll easily gonna cancel the season. But even though they should cancel the season, and they look like they will cancel the season if there's more results of other players that's also getting it, but it is really crazy how sports right now, like every
you think they're just waiting?
Huh?
Yeah, they're just waiting.
I think so. I think they're waiting. They're waiting on all the results of all the players. If there's at least a few more key players that's gained the virus, then honestly they're gonna cancel it. I never seen this incident before in my life before. Like all sports because of one guy like Rudy Gobert. I feel sorry for Rudy Gobert, but the dude was trolling when he was touching the mics, and I was like, okay. It wasn't funny, but it was like, okay, I get he was just trying to be playing around, but when he got the disease, I'm just like, I mean, sorry for him, but I mean, trolls troll themselves, man. It happens.
You mean the virus, right? When you got the virus?
Yeah, when you got the virus, and it also affect Donovan Mitchell, which I'm actually shocked. I'm actually shocked that like all those other players got affected because of because of one guy, and
they on the same team. They on the same team, and that's the thing. This virus stuff here that's why you guys got. I would tell you guys to practice social distancing, man. You know what I'm saying, and just kind of not come in contact with folks like that, because if people are just casually, you know, like dapping each other up, hugging people up and stuff like that, that's another way that, you know, it can happen. You know, this thing is serious. This is not like no regular stuff that's out there, man. It seems like some mutated stuff that's going on. Um, you know, and I have my own opinions and my own beliefs on it or whatnot, but I'm not gonna, this is not the platform for that. But I'm gonna tell y'all like this, man. This thing is serious, and you guys just have to be mindful and, you know, take care of yourselves at all times. Make sure that you're not putting yourself in any precarious situations that you shouldn't be putting yourself into. And I think that's what happened with Rudy Gobert. You know, they said the reason why he got it is because he was just reckless. You know, he wasn't just playing around. I mean, he wasn't keeping himself sanitary and clean, and he was just kind of like just basically touching all kinds of stuff, man, and touching people and coming in contact with people. So that exposed him. I mean, we got people that's going into airplane ports and all these different places and they catching stuff. So y'all just gotta be mindful of these things, man.
His career is gonna have a very big hit on this. His whole career, his own reputation. People hate the man. People have hated the man for weeks. So, but as far as sports, all the sports, especially the Olympics, I think everything should be canceled. In 2021 should be a restart. But I don't know. They just still trying to save certain events like the Olympics, and that's all it is. I can't really like dissect everything because like I try not to like I understand about the virus, but sometimes it always like what's the word, bombarded me every time when they always talk about the virus and stuff. And I understand, but it just I don't know. I just don't even know anymore. I'm just surprised by the worst. If you understand where I'm coming from.
I got you, man. So Jacob Lonewolf, what's your take on it, man? Jacob, you there? All right, I don't know what's going on with Jacob, man. But Lewis, man, what's your take, man? You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is really gonna be the topic today, man. We're just gonna be talking about it. We're gonna come at it from different angles. So, what's your take again, Lewis, on this topic, man, and how you feel? Do you feel that the NBA playoffs? Because I mean, the NBA is holding off because they're probably waiting to see how things are gonna ravel. But the playoffs supposed to happen in April. I mean, we're in March, so yeah, they need to go ahead and call this season, man. So, what's your take on the NBA just being really like delayed and kind of just waiting instead of them just saying, you know what, we're just gonna watch the season?
The problem that I'm having with this whole thing is that we got 19, 20 games left. And some people were saying that they need to push this thing to the playoffs just to kind of get this season like in the books. But I said that that's a problem because you're going to have a lot of teams rusty. And the fear is because of this virus that's spreading, it's taking away practice time from teams. And the fear is also that there's been a lot of people that have been saying that they feel like players are going to start to get lazy and not going to be able to get the time to be able to practice, not only for them to stay in shape individually, but then with their teammates when they do practices. So that's the bad part. So now and the thing is also NBA owners are kind of pushing it. I mean, Richy Rich had touched upon it when he was making his point about that they don't want to coincide with the NFL season. I mean, that is a part of it, but for the most part, we got to understand something. This is about the profit. And like Richy Rich said with Adam Silver, like he needs to be thinking about people, family, and health first, and not be trying to make a profit because, I mean, I can make this reference right now and make a comparison. I mean, take a look at Dana White in the UFC. He last week had an empty arena in Brazil and they were still doing their fights. But then he had to cancel the next 3 because of the issue of the concern of the virus being spread around in Vegas. So he had to cancel the next 3 fights. Then you go to the WWE. Vince McMahon is having the he's having the wrestlers fight in an empty arena at the Performance Center right now. Why? Because he's thinking about the money and he doesn't want to lose profits. Now, if I'm Adam Silver, like you don't want to take a turn for that, especially when you're considering about what the 400 plus players that you're putting at risk if you decide to have these guys play. And the thing is also, it's like it doesn't make sense to do this in an empty arena neither. I know LeBron has come out and said he doesn't want to play in an empty arena with fans, but he actually really wasn't the first one that mentioned that. This was well, he was one of the people, but Victor Oladipo and I believe it was James Harden. They came out and said that they're not going to play in an empty arena without the fans. And we have to think about everybody's health at this point. Like we cannot be selfish. We have to think about the fact that if they were to have these guys go straight to the playoffs, it just wouldn't make sense because of everything that possibly might happen with the free time that these guys have. Also, it's like they have to make sure that they stay social distance apart. That's another thing. Then it's of the fact that they have to quarantine themselves because one of the players from the Toronto Raptors, Chris Boucher, which I'm pretty sure you guys know, he broke protocol. So he broke team procedures and decided to leave the quarantine to go to the grocery store to go get something. Fortunately, when they tested him and they tested the Raptor players, the test came out negative. And I think Oklahoma City was the other team that had recently been tested as well, since they were the last team to be in the same arena with the Utah Jazz. They all came out negative, so that was good. But like Richie Rich said, we still got 21 teams that they need to test. So that's why this is a long process, and that's why it's affecting the playoffs because owners want to see how far can this go and can Adam Silver possibly find it some way so that these players can play, but it's all about profits. They're not even thinking about the human being aspect of these players. They're thinking about money. They're thinking about revenue. So um, when it comes to the playoffs, they can't go straight to the playoffs. It's like you have to be able to finish the season. And I'm sorry, but they need to shut this season down. And they can't even worry about the playoffs and start fresh next year. Because if you even try to extend all that, it's like then you're going to have that problem of how are these guys going to get practice time? Then it's like they got 20 games left. It's like now these players, you're forcing them, they have at least one good practice somehow in between a series when it's like these guys play every other day. And that's if you just push them to the playoffs. And remember, some of these guys are still trying to get players to come to their teams. Joakim Noah hasn't come to the Clippers yet. So how's that going to look like if they were to start the playoffs right away and Joakim Noah all of a sudden, starts to try to get acclimated? Like, how long is that going to take? And it's like if they try to do that in the playoffs on the fly, I don't see that working. They need time together. It's the same thing with a lot of these teams heading into the playoffs. So in order for the playoffs to work, they got to finish out the season first because I just think that you're not going to get the best product if you put them straight into the playoffs because all these teams are going to be very rusty. You don't know who's going to be out of shape. You don't know who might come back with an injury. So all of those things come into play. So in my personal opinion, like I said before, and I'm going to say it again, if there's a big star that ends up getting this coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
if there's any reason that there's a continuation of players with the cases increase and they continue to go up, they need to shut the season down and start fresh. And that way, everybody gets an opportunity to start from scratch instead of
Mm-hmm.
some teams having advantages over others, man. Because at this point, you got to pretty much be fair to everybody. That's my take on it.
That's true.
Hello?
Jacob, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We'll hear you now, man. So, what's your
Yes.
take on this global pandemic, man, and how it's affecting the landscape of the NBA?
Oh man, it's just terrible, man. I remember just last week, I picked my little brother from school and I went to the mall and I was typing in the NBA and all of a sudden I just see the NBA shut down. For a second, my heart dropped. Like I was like, man, like far, because I had this feeling like this was gonna be like one of the best playoff the whole playoffs was gonna be good, this year. But unfortunately, with this virus, everything came to a halt. And one thing about this virus, I could relate to this. I had a incident 2 years ago where uh, I had like a virus. I'm not gonna say which one it was,
Mm-hmm.
and like this virus, like it was like I'll just say it was worse than the coronavirus because like with a virus like that, you don't really know it's happening to you. You know, um, because like I was feeling fine, and I remember one day, my mother was like, "You lost a lot of weight." I had night sweats, fevers. I was like, "What the hell's happening to me?" And the doctor said, "You have this and that." And little did I know, I was in the hospital for like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Because the doctor said no, because this thing that you have is very infectious, so you have to stay and quarantine yourself. So I was like getting mad. I was like, what is this, like what's happening to me? And then after a while, after I was on medication for months and months, I started to understand like health is your wealth, man. Like you cannot play with that. And
Exactly.
also, I agree with all the points you guys made. But let's also, like, I had this epiphany. I was watching Tom Ross's YouTube channel, and this brother, was giving a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think there was like one video. He brought up a chart in one of his videos, and he was basically listing all the diseases that people die every day.
Yeah.
And he was questioning why all of a sudden did this disease break. Now I'm now on this channel. I'm not gonna be a conspiracy theorist. I'm not gonna come up with all these things, but I think we as people we should question a lot of the things that's happened. Obviously, you go back in history. Like if you go back 100 years, there was the Black Pox incident. There was other epidemics 100 years before these, the coronavirus. But this is a very big epidemic. I hope the players, I hope they cancel the season because if they try to rush these players back, you're gonna have more widespread coronavirus disease spreading throughout the NBA, and it's just gonna affect how the NBA looks. It's gonna be a really bad look, and also I want to blame the media for this too, ESPN, all these other media outlets, because when they interview players, they're basically hogging the player. They're around him. The player is literally surrounded by a mob of media beat writers just on him every 24 seconds with the
Mm-hmm.
microphones in his face. And I think the media should be held accountable for that. You know, so I definitely feel like if the NBA was to resume next season, I feel like they should make a rule that media members should be at least like 7 to 10 feet away from the players, because when I see these interviews, they're all around the player, and you know how much germs and like are spreading like every second when they're talking to the player and asking them a question. So I
Yeah.
think the media should be held accountable for that. Um, I definitely feel that they should cancel the season right away now because KD obviously got it, and that's one of the he's the best player in the NBA. That got the virus. And I feel like that's a sign that they should cancel the season because he didn't even play the season. And the
Yeah.
fact that he got it while he was injured, that's even worse. So I feel like that's a sign already. Cancel the season because
Mm-hmm.
you have all these other players playing on the basketball court. They're most likely to get it more than KD, and he got it. Nah, you should cancel the season. And also, I want to piggyback on what you guys said about the owners. I remember when I was reading the article last week, I saw Zion Williamson, which other NBA player, Giannis, like all these NBA players helping the workers in the stadium, and I was like, isn't that the owner's job? Like why the players covering all these stadium workers? Like, isn't that the owners? The owners are billionaires. They own basically the stadium. Why don't they take care of the NBA? And that was just a really tell sign to me that basically
Yeah.
reminded me that no matter how rich you are in this society, slavery
Mm-hmm.
is still alive. People have this illusion that slavery ended. No, slavery exists, and
Exactly.
I'm not here to be mean or anything, but let's just admit all these athletes are high priced slaves. Let's just keep it real. You like slavery is real. Like the owners are the masses, and they're using the players as foot soldiers to basically pay off that amount to the workers that the owners want to save for profit. So that was a real tell sign for me. So that's what I think about it. Just cut down the season for overall.
For those overall reasons.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. So Shawn, you got anything else you want to say on this?
Yeah, I'll piggyback with what Jason said. Um, billionaires, the tactics of billionaires is usually be like they'll find a way, they find the cheapest way in order for you to get the best profit. Even means you're ripping your employees off. As long as I get get a bigger profit, that's all that matters. They trying to save money. Um, and it's sad because like in this situation, supposedly like it's not that much they could have like gave. You could give people like you could give a person like 5 million. You could give your employees 5 million, and I think people were able to survive with 5 million. But it's incredibly selfish how much they really want to keep that profit range because they're really obsessed with numbers. These guys are really obsessed with their finances, their numbers, their rank, and they're trying to go higher and higher in order to be the top dog.
Yeah.
And so no matter how much um we always complain about them, that's their mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And the Golden State Warriors, I saw even an article about the Golden State Warriors not helping their employees. They're
Yeah.
barely helping their employees. Like I think they give I think some maybe few players give them like about few like hundred thousands, if not millions, but most of their players are not helping them, especially even like the staff. I mean, yeah, especially even like the staff and even the owner, they're not helping them. And the
Hmm.
Bay is very expensive. I mean, living in the Bay is very expensive, more expensive than LA.
Wow.
But yes, it's all about a rank. That's all they care about. And also about KD. They don't care about KD.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real. Like they don't care about KD. KD is just the only thing they care about KD is if this is the guy that whooped LeBron James ass in the court. More
Mm-hmm.
so than just like the human being. And it's not a diss about LeBron James. It's just that's their way of how they perceive KD. And it's very disappointing how much they disrespect a player of his caliber because he hasn't played for 1 year. If it was like other players, like even especially even legends, if it was like legends like Jordan, they would actually help the guy if they would
Mm-hmm.
have done something. But like not KD. KD didn't even do nothing outside of just speaking his opinions while y'all continue to put all this rhetoric.
Yeah.
But this is a very weird time right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very weird time.
That's true. That's true. Richie Rich, man. Anything else you want to say on this, man?
Yeah, you guys brought up some good points, man. I mean, like once again, just like how you guys said earlier about Adam Silver trying to bring back the NBA around June, July. It wouldn't be a good look if he brings it back and this virus starts to rear its ugly head again
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have like I mentioned before, they don't have a proper vaccine for it. And also, I was reading up today where, you know, China and South Korea are starting to go back to normal life. And guess what? Cases have popped up again. Deaths have popped up again. So this thing is not put in check yet. You know what I'm saying? So people can't go back to normal life just yet. There has to this thing has to run its course. This thing is just not going to go away. So you can't rush the things, you know. So Adam Silver, he did a good job by setting the standard. When he
Mm-hmm.
shut down the NBA, we saw all these other sports follow suit. You saw the NCAA tourney, they shut down their sport. They shut down their tournament. We saw NHL shut down. We saw MLB shut down. We saw, other sports leagues shut down their sports. Soccer,
Wow.
the those European leagues, La Liga, all those top leagues where you got Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi playing, all those leagues shut down. But it was the NBA that set the standard first. The NBA got to continue to set that standard by not trying to rush this process. Let the thing run its course.
Yeah.
Wait till they have a proper vaccination out there. Wait till enough time has passed to where they could get an idea of how this virus really works and how we can contain it. You know what I'm saying, properly. So don't rush this thing. You bring these NBA players back, but are they really gonna be social distancing themselves from each other? No, they're not. When you bring them back, even if they're playing in a stadium without fans, they're gonna be around each other. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and when they leave the stadium, they're gonna go right back outside in that environment, where people are still normal people like me and you are out there. What if they get into contact with one of these people and they get the virus and they bring it and they play in one of the games and then it gets spread all over again. It's Pandora's box opening, and Adam Silver is gonna have to pay for it. So just do things wisely. Don't rush things back and cancel the season, man. It's only the right thing to do. This is about life here. Life is more important than a game. Uh, and I also saw you guys bring up the about NBA players footing the bill for the part-time workers that work in the stadiums. So yeah, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way because yeah, like I'm in total agreement about owners having to foot that bill. I'm glad that Mark Cuban was the first owner that came out and said that he's going to make sure all those workers are taken care of. He's going to pay off all of what they're owed throughout the rest of the year. All those owners should follow suit on what Mark Cuban said. That's how you got to handle things as an owner in a situation like this. You got to understand that life preservation is the most important thing, especially in these type of serious situations. We got to look out for each other. We know there's people that's dealing with uh at this time they're dealing with their job being laid off because a lot of these jobs are shutting down, man. And these
Mm-hmm.
people you got families, man, that don't make enough ends meet. They got kids out here. They got to take care of bills that they got to pay. So these owners have to do what's right. They have to take care of their workers. These are people that are doing the jobs that me and you don't see. So take care of them. Don't put that on the backs of the players. Step up as an owner. You're a billionaire.
Yeah.
Do what's right and pay these workers. So I'd like to see more of these owners stepping out and doing what's right. They gotta bail out their workers.
Yep.
It's only right. So
Yep.
yeah, that's my take on it.
He knows.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, I just want to say this, and I don't know if you guys have been paying attention on this as well, but did y'all notice that when Charles was not, he didn't appear on a special edition of on TNT with the crew, and he was feeling sick, and he had to pretty much talk via phone. They
Mm-hmm.
tested him for to see if he had the COV, and the results have not come back in yet. And how
Wow.
old is Charles? Charles is near 60. He just turned 57 this year.
Wow. Wow.
And I'm wondering which Sixer players are the ones that have that COV. And I'm hoping it's not either Embiid or Ben Simmons. And then notice how they haven't come out with that Laker report. And I'm wondering, and I'm hoping not, and it could be possible. I'm hoping that it's not I'm thinking is hopefully it's not possibly AD, because if like that's the case, then I'm telling you that the season's gone. And going back to what Rich was saying, like it just makes no sense to be trying to play no empty arena, because it's like not only are players, uh, like I said, they have the possibility. Pretty much is like they're gonna be in contact with each other when they're playing. So
Mm-hmm.
it really doesn't make any sense for these guys, because you're talking about 5-on-5 contact.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you can't be that selfish, man, and just have these guys just play out there. So it's true. They need to just consider canceling this whole thing, man, for the
Yep.
safety of everybody.
Yep. I agree with everything you guys just said, man. The season needs to be canceled. Everyone made some eloquent points. I mean, there's really nothing we could talk about in terms of games because this is what's been taking over, this global pandemic, this epidemic, like this thing has really put a toll on basketball, it's put a toll on life, it's put a toll on everything. Like you guys said, there's people that's being laid off, everything is being held standstill. I mean, it's causing
The stock
chaos.
market is getting worse.
Yeah, it's causing chaos on so many levels, man. So people just need to park the brakes and just focus on the family that they have in front of them and just be mindful of what's going on. We hope that things can get better so that eventually life can continue on as is. But I just feel like this whole thing here, like you guys are saying, the NBA season should be shut down. I don't know why the NBA hasn't come out and just basically said we're done. The season is done. Like we need to make sure that we preserve our players, we preserve the health of the workers, we preserve the health of our brand. Like just doing that in of itself will send a presence and it will send a message. Salute to you, Kev Cook, that everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be fine. And people can look forward to 2020 and 2021. I mean, none of us saw this happening. And usually that's how it is, man. I mean, from the Ebola crisis to all these other viruses and crises
The
that
Ebola crisis
when
wasn't
it,
like wasn't that like severe as much as this one.
yeah, but I mean, like in
Only
terms
well,
but
it's severe like it's in Africa, like maybe like Central or Western and Central Africa, but they
yeah,
the
and
United States don't care about
yeah,
Africa.
and I'm glad you mentioned that because they were making such a big deal about getting on people in that part of that continent, what I'm saying, in Africa or whatnot. And now look, the world has had this issue and they don't know how to handle it. They're in an uproar. When you looking left and right, you got major governments, United States of America, Europe, all of these places have failed, man, in terms of how they've handled it. So, China, I mean, all of these places have failed in terms of how they've handled it. So the best thing to do right now is to just shut down, pastime, because people's not focusing on sports or anything like that. These types of games require contact, and the last thing you want for COV is contact. So everything to me needs to be shut down. I mean, it's just bottom line.
I
Just shut
still
down the whole season and be done with it.
I there like I saw like a video like from like if I know some of y'all watch Too Raw from TV. Um, he actually made a suggestion about like if the NBA is trying to do is like what's similar to like in the '60s, like using smaller cities in order for us to in order for the playoffs to take place, like
Mhm,
putting cities, um, like small cities, like just in order to meet up for teams to meet up and do their thing in order for the playoffs and the finals to continue. Which
mhm,
I mean, it was during a time when the virus wasn't that big of a deal until right now. But
mhm,
at the time, he was suggesting that like, okay, maybe the NBA is going to do this similar styles like what the '60s, like I mean, smaller, bring teams to certain cities and do the playoffs in that particular city or those or replacing on small, yeah, just like shuffling up certain cities in order for players to do their games and then continue the playoffs like there. But I think it's too late right now for that to come.
Yeah, I mean that's it's interesting that you said that, but I mean, bottom line is the season needs to be shut down. All sports need to just be pushed to the wayside because we're not even looking at it from a sports perspective. Oh, Lig, salute to you. What's going on, sis? How you doing? How you doing, beautiful sis? But yeah, just the whole spectrum of it is it just needs to be shut down because we all are worried about even our livelihoods. You know what I'm saying? I am. I'm sure Lewis is. Richie Rich, you are. You know what I'm saying? Shawn, you are. Jacob, Lonewolf, you are. You know what I'm saying? In all of the different respective areas that we are in. When we come in contact with people, you know what I'm saying? You guys know I was trying to get on a flight. It got canceled like back to back to back to back to back. But just the fact that I was in the airport just trying to, make it. I mean, that's me coming in contact and getting exposed to people or whatnot.
It's a good thing that goes to those flights.
Yeah, I mean, it's just and I couldn't make it because there was weather hold, and I'm glad because you don't want to be flying in bad weather or whatnot. You don't know if you're gonna crash or whatnot. So it was meant for me to not fly at those times. It is what it is, but bottom line is, like thank goodness I was able to fly and nothing happened to me. I didn't contract anything or anything like that. But it's just I'm hoping for everyone to make it out safe and for everyone to not be exposed to this, man. Because this is serious. Like this stuff right here, just thinking about it makes your head cringe. So I hope the safety and the well-being of everyone, and like Lig just said, 100%. Everyone needs to pause, man. That's really what it boils down to, because people are worried about, when they step outside and they have to go, and interact with people. I mean, there's a lot of jobs that are working from home because of this stuff that's going on. People are getting laid off because they can't report to work. So there's just a lot going on that is bigger than sports right now, and it's just selfish of the NBA to just say, you know what, we're not gonna shut the season down. So shout outs to the Lonely One, because I remember in previous videos I made, he was saying, yeah, man, they should shut the season down too. So I just wanted to shout him out for that. But bottom line is they need to be mindful of the fact that it's about health and welfare right now, and people's lives are at stake. We got 7+ billion people on this planet, man. I mean, and wherever you're at, everyone's being impacted and everyone's being affected. So this is serious. That's why
Also,
I call it a global pandemic. It's serious.
wait, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Also, I think this is as like I think we've lost as a society all over the world as well. I think ever since the age of technology, and I'm a millennial myself. I think we have lost patience as people. Everything now is so instant. It's like right in your face. Like you can get whatever you want at whatever time you want. And I think a lot of the fans who are complaining that why did the NBA shut down? I want to see my basketball again. They're not really taking into account that patience is the number one cure of all of this. You can't just go through life getting whatever you want, or getting what you want at whatever time you want. I think we've lost the art of patience as a society and as the world. And I think with this coronavirus, with the NBA trying to like start resume in like June or July, I think they're doing themselves a bigger disservice. If you look at history, the people that were the most patient, when it was time for them to come back, they were even stronger. But if you keep rushing things, then it's just gonna spread and it's gonna be worse than it was before. So that's what I
True.
wanted to say. Yeah.
True.
I
That's true.
agree. I feel like as a society, I'm not going to speak on the world, but it's at least in the United States. I feel like as a society over here, yeah, I feel like we really screwed up on this one as far as preparation and I'll say ignorance. People did not really did not take the virus seriously. Everyone was making jokes. and they feel like, you know, I mean, when you know how in social media, like they always be trying to make everything as a joke, and also they feel like, man, it's not gonna happen to me. And then when it happens to them, they be crying. They feel like, man, the world's it's gonna hurt me. You know, it it just amazes me how, like, when situations like this are real, everybody feels so stagnant and complacent. But I just feel like we should take more things seriously, especially in this age of technology. We should take things seriously. We should be able to use the information that we have in order to put more things in perspective instead of just making everything as a joke. We I feel like I feel like that most people are ignorant in a way as far as using technology more so than just using it as a tool, but or the internet specifically. But yeah, I agree with you there about about people as a society is very very impatient, and I say somewhat ignorant in my opinion.
You know what? Also, though, and I gotta say this, and it kind of goes back to what Jacob was saying, because this just popped up in my head. This is why we have to hold the media accountable, because what they've done is they're always playing a game with Simon Says to the masses. All they want to do is anytime that they have the ability to control and manipulate society, they could do it in the blink of an eye, and that's why it's got everybody so worried, especially when they knew about this virus possibly being a pandemic. It's gotten people going crazy, and that's why we've been able to use technology the wrong way, because instead of using it for the right reasons, we use it as a way of distraction from what's important. And that's why it's got everybody worried. That's why.
That's true, man. You guys, you guys have hit it on the thumb and on the needle. But yeah, man. Well, let's get one more round in, man, with everyone. Richie, Rich, you got anything else you want to say about this?
Yeah, man. I mean, you guys got me thinking of that movie that came out years ago. What was it? 20. It was called 20. What was it called? 2012 or something like that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
2012.
Well,
Yeah, man. Like when they say everything is okay, everything is not okay.
mhm.
You know,
Yeah, that's deep.
where
No,
yeah,
okay.
this is how like this is how their whole demeanor was like when the virus was in China, and it didn't make its way over here. Maybe it was over here already, but it wasn't.
Mhm.
It was like the cases weren't really that serious, so they were acting like everything was fine and dandy. But as the cases rose, as we've seen so far, this guy can't hide any. He can't hide anything anymore. You see all the stuff being shut down now. You see the stock market going down. Like Trump's whole thing is he doesn't want this stock market to be affected, man, and it's being
Yeah.
heavily affected. It's volatile right now.
Mhm.
That was his whole thing. But now all of it's gone to the wayside. So this guy, man, he's kind of desperate, and he doesn't want to. You see, he doesn't want to do a whole national shutdown, because if you look in Florida, man, there's still some places like Clearwater, Florida. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that area. There was a
Mhm.
whole, this time around the year is spring break. There were spring breakers out there, man. The beach was crazy, man, over there. These people are not taking this thing seriously, man. They're still, in parts of the country where this thing is still not being taken seriously. This is why these cases are going to continue to rise, and
Mhm.
these death tolls are going to continue to go up, because there's still places and parts of the country where people are not taking it serious. They're not doing the
Yeah.
social distancing. They're still going to heavy populated areas. They're not taking the necessary precautions.
Mhm.
So this thing is going to continue to rise. This is why I continue to say the NBA season it should be canceled, and it is, because we as people, man, we just we're stubborn, man. And it goes along how you guys said with the technology. We've allowed this, like, the technology to we become a slave to it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got to figure out a way to where, we're putting, lives first, man, over, like technology, over like personal things we like, to see. Life is always first, man. Other people's lives are always first. We need to go back to that kind of mentality where, we appreciate each other, we appreciate ourselves and each other's first. All this other stuff is irrelevant, man. So that's all I gotta say. It's brief, but
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. Anybody else, man?
For all I'm gonna say is that this situation is gonna prove like it's gonna separate is who's like it. This situation is going to separate people who's selfish and
Mhm.
who's selfless, and it's like this is weird because this we never seen this before. Hopefully, I'm praying for every good person to survive as much as many people survive as possible, so we could get over it. This is kind of like a stepping stone, or in a way, just like a message for multiple things that as a society we did mistakes on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think like I cannot always blame on the media for everything because we have the information is there. I mean, the internet, every information we got is there on the internet. You don't even need to watch ESPN or watch Fox or ABC or whatever. You could just look at articles or even like certain independent news posts to know where to find this information. So I cannot blame the media for everything, but I'll say that what the media and including society, we use the internet to enhance our ignorance and our self desire so much to that we overcome everything that's important. And should be a good warning for us to say that we should not put ourselves more our own our things that we always wanted more than what we actually needed. That's all I gotta say.
That's true. That's real. Man, panel, man. Y'all came in, y'all killed it today, man. Appreciate all of y'all, man. Like I said, I want everybody to be safe. Kev Cook, let me read his comment. He said, that he's security. Yeah, he said that let me see what was the comment again. Yeah, he said I work in the hospital as security, no visitors allowed in the campus. I mean, that's a serious place to be working at in a time like this. So I feel you, man. I used to work way back in the day, so I know how that feels, man. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate everyone that showed up and showed out. Lewis, thank you, man, for coming in and doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all subscribe to that brother's channel, Lewis Sports Network. I'm always gonna plug them because that's a deep brother right there. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for saying, man, you wanted to step up and come to the panel. So appreciate that. Always appreciate your input. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's always gonna drop that heat and that fire, and it's gonna be emphatic. Richie Rich, man, thank you. Shawn O, appreciate it. Jacob Lonewolf, appreciate it. But I tell all of y'all, man, y'all be safe out here, man, in these streets called life, because it's not even about NBA streets, boxing streets. There ain't nothing about that, man. Y'all just be careful, man, and protect yourselves at all times. You know what I'm saying? So, and just try to practice social distancing, like we said. Make sure y'all wash your hands for minimum 20 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, just practice hygiene that we know how to practice, because we've grown up the right way. We know how to practice hygiene the right way. So, I mean, if you was hugging and kissing people, you might have to refrain from that big time. I would just definitely say that, and just be mindful, you know what I'm saying, of anything that you're coming in contact with. I would say also be careful with what you eat. You know what I'm saying? Just don't make sure that you're just putting anything in your mouth, and just your health should be your number one wealth, and you guys should be mindful of that. Don't eat anything that's going to inflame you. You know what I'm saying? That's going to give you like inflammation so that your immune system is compromised. Think about these things, man. Just, make healthy choices when you eat. Make sure you sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Sleep's going to be very important so that your immune system could stay high. Make sure you guys are taking your vitamins, man. You know what I'm saying? And make sure y'all just try to stay safe. And we hope that this whole thing here can, like really go over sooner than later, because I do believe that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. We can't see it right now, you know what I'm saying? But I hope that, the light at the end of the tunnel is definitely going to be there for all of us. And we all can be able to definitely, how should I say it? Be able to get back to our regular lives, man. Because it's serious, man. And I'm glad that they're starting to, put some sanctions out there, some curfews, because there's a lot of people out here, man. They partying. I like it's out of style, man. They don't know how to just not party. They like kids, grown ass kids. They still want to be out there and about drinking. And I mean, these are like the last places to be where this stuff is going on right now. Like people just need to park themselves and be at home. And that's the way I look at it, man. Y'all protect yourselves, you know what I'm saying? And if you're not feeling too well, just stay home, man. That's the bottom line. So that way you don't expose yourself to anything that can compromise you guys. So yeah, in this time we're gonna try to comfort each other through these live streams, and we're just gonna try to continue to have conversations about this stuff, because this is the news right now. This is our reality.
He knows.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, Anthony L brought up a good comment about having this Mamba mentality, to the late great Kobe Bryant, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to just share a story that Kobe said during an interview.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this relates to coronavirus, but it just really struck me. One of the reporters asked Kobe, why'd you go back on the court when you tore your Achilles and you shot those 2 free throws?
Mm-hmm.
And then like the reporter was saying, isn't that like painful? Like, doesn't that hurt? And Kobe was like, this is how I looked at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say if I'm in the house with my kids and my family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a fire breaks out, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm gonna forget everything in the house and I'm gonna grab all my family members so then all of us are safe and so we can get out the house. So when Kobe shot those 2 free throws with the Achilles when it was out, he said that he didn't die. It wasn't like a life or death situation. So that incident was nothing to him. He could overcome that because the way he looked at life, it was like a life or death situation. Kobe always looked at a situation. He never panicked. He never got out of he got out of his shell. He was always positive and he was very optimistic. So that's one thing I wanted to say. About the late great Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
And let me go on top.
Yeah, go ahead, Louis.
My fault. Okay, my fault. Oh no, I just basically wanted to say that like, we just have to, we just have to have a focused mindset and have this mama mentality, man, and attack this thing like we're gladiators at the end of the day, man. Like we're some 300 Spartans, and have the belief and be optimistic that we're gonna get through this,
Yep.
and hopefully the people that have been ignorant all this time begin to wake up, because it really needs to take just one of these guys to get sick, and hopefully somebody, and like I said, I don't wish for it to be for anyone to get sick, because I'm praying that everybody hopefully gets healed from this, and that no one ends up losing their lives, because I can't imagine what families are going to go through with a virus like this that ends up ending the life of a loved one. And I couldn't imagine what that's like, and especially because it's how crazy that in just 3 months time, we're not even through the month of March yet, and we dealt with a horrible tragedy that happened with somebody that we watched growing up, and then from to go from that to all of a sudden a virus that's like killing people quickly. We have an increased number of cases, and a number of people that are currently living with the virus right now that are either feeling well but are living with it, And then there's people who are just really sick from it because they have a previous health condition or the fact that they're one of the elderly. So this is something that is not to be played with. And we need to understand, like I said, the difference between precaution and fear. If we just stay afraid and not do anything, to take care of ourselves, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position to where you might easily catch it. So it's like we got to be precautionary with ourselves and make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and make sure we put our health first before anything. Because, like I said before, this is bigger than the game. Like you said, this is bigger than the NBA streets. These are bigger than the boxing streets. These are bigger than sports streets. These are life streets we're talking about here. And it's crazy because I've seen quite a few, like a lot of homeless people, like at the times that I would be going to work ever since that this became a pandemic. And it's like trying to be socially distant from them, even though it's like you see people that they will ask for change, or you'll see them if you happen to ride the subway or things like that, or if you see them on the street, like they're kind of using this as an opportunity to, they're kind of just like out there. And it's like, even those are the things that you have to kind of avoid, even though it's like you want to be a good Samaritan or be a helping hand to somebody who's struggling. But it's like, because of the way that this virus is, it's like, we got to be very cautious. And it's like, I've seen a lot more people. So it's like, who knows what this can cause. I mean, I've seen people, it's caused people to like all of a sudden buy items like crazy and spend a lot of money because they're thinking that the world is ending. And it's like a part of it is like, this is what this has done, with the mind of people. It's kind of drove them crazy, and they're right now living in fear instead of taking precaution. There's nothing wrong with, it's something that you got to pay attention to, but there's also steps that you can take to obviously, make things better for yourself. It's a matter of, are you going to do that, or are you just going to be afraid and not do anything about it? Because it's like, if you don't, then like I said, you put yourself in a very bad spot to where you're not going to be able to do anything about it, especially if any symptoms begin to show, because they say that it takes about anywhere from like about a week to 2 weeks to show any sign of symptoms if you're asymptomatic. So we really got to take care of ourselves, man. So that's what I'm going to say about that.
Yep, that's true. It's gonna take some time. It does take time if it does show up. But yeah, well, on that note, man, I mean, we all hit the points that we needed to hit. We said what we had to say. We're gonna run this thing back on Sunday, man. A continuation of this talk, because we are in a way the hope for people. You know what I'm saying? A outlet for people to really just have an opportunity to just listen to all of our viewpoints and listen to what we got to say on the topic. So we'll just continue to focus at hand and do what we got to do, and just continue to, just be mindful and positive of this whole situation and this epidemic and this pandemic. So Jacob Lonewolf, thank you for participating. Shawn O, appreciate it. Richy Rich, thank you. Lewis, appreciate it, man. You know what I'm saying? If you down for Sunday as well too, any one of you guys or all you guys, we can do this. We can run this back on Sunday. It would be nice. And we could just talk about it and continue to talk about these topics and really just try to give people hope in a time that feels like it's hopeless. Because like I said, a lot of stuff is going on. You got, LIG, she's fearful. Keem got game, you know what I'm saying? I hope everybody here, man, in the panel, in the chat, I wish you guys nothing but the best. And like Anthony L said, I mean, a time like this can either make your faith stronger or weaker. I mean, that's true, but I feel like, God got his hands on the situation, and he's going to make sure that everything works out for the better. So there's a reason why things are happening. And I do believe that. Thank you, Kev Cook. You said keep up with the content. He knows the sport. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Bottom line is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just hope that everyone is mindful of what's going on, and everyone is just mindful of their livelihoods. You know what I'm saying? Kev Cook, you're a security guard. You know what I'm saying? Just practice all precautions. Make sure you gloved up or whatnot. And you guys just take care of yourselves, man. Take care of yourselves at all times. And just be mindful of everything that's going around your surroundings. Lewis, I know you're in New York. You come in contact with a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Even when you go through your building, you come through a contact with a lot of people. So just be mindful. Just be careful, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have to be out, don't be out. Richy Rich, You know, I know you down there in Florida, and you already know how that goes over there. Um, Jacob Lonewolf, just be careful in Melbourne. Shawn O, you in a big capacity in California. Y'all just be careful, man. You know, because we've heard of cases that broke out here in Alaska too. I think 2 or 3. So this stuff is everywhere, man. So you know, y'all just be careful, man, and just be mindful that this is a global thing and it's affecting all of us on so many levels. And we just need to be mindful of that, man. Like King got saying, Game said, we fought tough in Texas. Well, we got to be fought tough everywhere, man. So y'all have a great Friday, man. Y'all enjoy yourselves. Again, you know, just practice, you know, whatever protocols that's going to keep you guys safe and going to keep you guys healthy. Make sure y'all, you know, check out Lewis Sports Network's channel. Hit that subscription button, comment, like, share. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to his channel. Those that are new to this channel, subscribe to this channel, because when we come back on Sunday, we're going to give you guys the continuation of hope. And we're just going to, like Jacob Lonewolf said, we're going to give you guys a Mamba mentality, man, because that's what it's about, man. Mamba for life, man. Just you guys just try to keep your mindset soaring above the whole situation and everything that's going on. So y'all be safe. Y'all enjoy yourselves. Appreciate you, Lewis, for being back on Sunday. And we'll just continue the conversation just in a different piece and a different format, man. Be safe everywhere, man. And like I said, I hope and pray that this doesn't happen. This doesn't hit any of us directly. It doesn't hit our families. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just praying that, you know, no one else is affected by this, because this is something serious, and you know, we all want to make it out on the right side and not on the wrong side of this. So y'all be safe, y'all be easy, man, and peace.
Peace.
Peace, my brother.
Guys, take care.
And take care, guys.
Be safe, guys and girls.